All right, family. I know it's been a while. Yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, welcome to the Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast show where we discuss all things entrepreneurship, mentorship, all that great stuff. I don't like what my camera's doing right now. All right, that's better. Entrepreneurship, mentorship, and all those amazing things. We talk about focus. We talk about life. We talk about business. And we talk about becoming the best version of ourselves possible. But before we start, if you haven't already, make sure to go over to hardworknoexcusesapparel.com. You can get your No Excuses hat. We have a lot of motivational apparel over there, so make sure to check us out. Use code DOWORK for a discount. Why? Because I love you and I care and I want you to get that discount. All right, I'm ready to dive in this week, man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm ready to dive in this week. So, let's go. All right, so 2 weeks ago, we were gonna podcast, and I did not. I was speaking at a convention in Miami, and it was very awesome, talking about how to avoid to maintain high performance and avoid burnout. It was very great. Had a great time in Miami. Thank you, Ursa, for having me. But then the second thing that happened, I'm in Miami, and then Roe versus Wade gets overturned. So I was supposed to podcast that day, and I just couldn't. And then last week, I was ready. I was like, I'm ready to talk about it. Then I still wasn't ready because, I believe words are power. And it's very important to me to always say what I mean and be extremely clear. So this is where we are now. I'm ready to talk about it. I'm ready to dig in it. So let's go. So the biggest issue here with Roe versus Wade is this. And I feel like a damn broken record. I feel like a broken record. Like, I'm trying to understand several things. It's a very sad day for women in America. I feel like we're constantly in America, and as Americans, the whole thing is religious freedom and, entrepreneurial freedom and your own sexual freedom. But yet it seems that we cannot successfully separate church and state. A lot of the people who are complaining about pro-choice and things of that nature are people who are doing it based on their religious beliefs. And that is contradictory to everything America stands for. Yes, on the back of a dollar, we do have in God we trust. But come on, y'all. People have the right to fucking choose. They do. So the thing that's interesting is I remember when the mask mandates happened, I said, guys, people have the right to choose. If they don't want to wear a mask, don't make them wear a mask. Why are we trying to make people do things? Okay. Next thing comes around. Vaccinations come around. I said it then. Why are we mandating that people do these things? It's their choice. They have a right to choose. Third thing comes along, right? Now we're here. Roe versus Wade and abortion have been an issue for a long time. A long time. When it was implemented, people hated it. They were waiting for the day they could overturn it. And I truly believe it is an extreme disservice to women to have that option. Now, I will also co-sign that and say, if someone is just being overly promiscuous, yes, that is their business. And they are constantly getting, pregnant and deciding they no longer want to keep the baby. If they are not paying for it personally, I've said this before, it just needs to be a cap. There needs to be a cap. But medically, women need abortions for certain things medically because it could take their life. And I'm all for that. That's their choice. Now, in the case of, the R word, which I can't say on certain platforms, and incest, that's terrible. I feel like it's about to be open season on kids. And maybe you're like, Diva, maybe you're being extreme. Maybe. But one thing I do know, and we all know that, women especially were married off in many cultures at very young ages. They were having babies at very young ages, and this is going on for centuries. I just don't think it's a safe place for us to return to, especially when we can all agree that young children do not have the right to consent. And I think it's a sad day where a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old would have to bear a child because her nasty ass uncle has decided to take advantage of her, or even her father or a family friend. That concerns me. And the fact that in that situation, the parent and the child don't have an option to say, hey, this is not for us, and even press charges. So the thing that's interesting, we're going to press charges on the woman for making a choice, but we're not going to press charges on her assailant. I got a problem with that. In the past, people brought to my attention, Diva, what about if it's consensual, a woman gets pregnant and the father wants to keep it? Well, this is the thing. When you have consensual sex, we should think more about what that could mean post just having pleasurable experience. What does that mean? If we get pregnant, what's our plan? Or we'll take it a step further and say, why don't y'all just wear protection? I'm really trying to understand why everybody's going around banging raw. Are y'all not scared of STDs? What is up with you people? That's the real issue. But I don't even think that's our concern here. I think the primary concern is children for me. And I posted something the other day. Yo, shout out to TikTok. I know, guys, you guys are watching me on my podcast. So if you haven't subscribed to the Do Work Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all that stuff, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to get back into it. Let's go. We're back on YouTube. So my concern here is children. And I've said this time and time again, that women and children in 2022 are still treated as forms of currency. They have no worth. They have no value. They are expendable and disposable. There's a really interesting scene in one of my favorite movies, in Black Widow, which every time I watch it, I get chills. I'm a big Marvel fan, but I promise you this is not a comic geek out session. But there's a scene in Black Widow where she's like rescuing and she's defeating the bad guy. She's turning the red table and the red room, and she goes in and she finds just pictures of tons and tons of little girls. And the guy exactly says to her, she's like, why do you recruit these girls to do these things? He said, because they're expendable. That hit home for me, because they're expendable. So clearly, by this ruling, we have now found, this just confirms for me, women are expendable. If a young girl is assaulted, because voluntarily, and I'm going to tell you right now, I grew up in the hood, right? I know a lot of people who've had many abortions for many reasons. Many abortions for many reasons. I've known people who were assaulted by their fathers, their uncles. And I know women who made the choice to go out, and that was their choice. They wanted to be promiscuous and sleep around. But I personally feel that young children don't get that choice. That's my concern. I personally feel that women, sometimes if the pregnancy is fatal to them, are you saying they now don't have a choice? That is very interesting. So, and in lieu of sounding like a broken record here, everyone needs to mind their goddamn business. Why is government, and see, this is, I'm going to tell you where it went wrong. I'm going to tell you where it went wrong. It went wrong back at the shutdown. They were testing the waters. What can we do? It went wrong when all of a sudden it was like, you think we can convince everybody to wear masks? That's where it went wrong. It went wrong with mandatory vaccinations. Now they're like, and now I'm going to tell you to do this. And it's done. It's done. One thing I've always said, once people take power away from you, it's going to be very difficult and challenging for you to get it back. I don't know if I love to be the most positive person in the room, but we are going to have a hell of a time overturning this one. We're going to have a hell of a time overturning this one. And I really want young women and girls not to feel defeated. I want you to be safe. I want you to be careful. No, I don't think every man is out trying to assault somebody. I don't believe that either. But I think collectively now, everybody's going to have to think. Because depending on where you are, your options are limited. And I'll be the first to say, if they don't want to allow abortions for people who are having casual sex and they having oops babies, all right, I get it. I'm more concerned about people who are attacked, molested. And then just to be clear, we know that most of the R word does not go reported. We know this. We know this statistically. When women are assaulted against their will, it does not go reported a lot of the time. So I'm telling you, it took me 2 weeks to really get on here and even dig into this, but I'm going to dig into it now. So with that being said, we're back to choice. We are back to the power to choose. And as I've always said to you guys, everybody's so extreme. Everybody's so extreme. And this is what being extreme gets us. This is where it gets us. It gets us at a place where we cannot communicate anymore. And it still bothers me that we have a bunch of old white dudes, and Clarence Thomas, not a fan, but whatever, making decisions like this. It still bothers me that the people who are in our Senate and in our Congress are making decisions like this. I'll be honest with you. I've voted every year since I was able to. I'm not sure if I'm really interested in the voting process anymore. I don't know if the people we elect are really for the people. And this is across the board. It's extremely disheartening right now. And usually I get on here and I'll be honest, I pride myself in being positive and sharing inspiration and motivation and all these things. But man, I'm having a tough time. I'm having a really tough time. So I guess the thing for me is this, like, where are you guys in this process? There are a few laws that override the choice of the wife, and the husband's not just a single woman. Wow. You aren't going to change abortion laws. Just stop. I'm reading stuff off TikTok. Just stop. Well, I know it's not going to be changed now. It's going to be hard. Once you lose that power, it's done. It's done. It's a wrap. I think it's a very long road ahead. A very long road ahead. But I do believe anything is possible. I do believe anything is possible. So I thought, what a better day to talk about choice and freedom than July 4th, right? I love this country. I say this all the time. If you ever get a chance and you look through any of my older podcasts or videos, my message hasn't changed. I'm a consistent motherfucker. I'm very consistent. I love this country. I really do. I really do. But damn, we flawed as hell. We're flawed on so many levels. Everybody wants to be right. Nobody wants to listen. Chaos at its finest. Chaos at its finest. You know, people are hurting on both sides. People feel unseen, unheard. Everybody's sensitive. Everything is overly, I'm going to be honest, I feel things are overly politically correct now. I don't even know half the time, I don't know how to address people. I don't know what to say. Everything's offensive. Like, it's just it's super soft right now. Everything is super soft right now. But I'll say this, and it's July 4th. Not going to be on here long today because I would like to go spend time with my family, damn it. I will say this, guys. Everyone deserves the right to choose. And before you get on here and be like, would they say that about masks? And they didn't say it about this. This is the thing. I've said this about everything from day one. And this is where it gets you. Where we are right now is a result of groups trying to take away each other's choices. I'll say that again. Where we are right now, we're in a place where two groups, to prove a point, are trying to take away each other's choices. And you got to remember, who loses in that situation? The people. The people lose. They always lose when that happens. I don't ever want anybody to take away my freedom of choice. I've been saying this since day one. I was mad as hell when they started that mandatory vaccination thing. Luckily, I work for myself. I own my own business. I didn't have to do it. I was mad as hell when they said that you have to wear a mask. Why? Why do I have to? Tell me. I was super upset, and I'm still upset that they're telling women they don't have the right to make a choice about their bodies. It's about choice, people. I swear I should change the name of the show to the Make Your Own Damn Decisions Do Work Choice podcast. It's about choice. I get upset when they say that everybody doesn't have the right to bear arms. I am an advocate to a supporter. Yes, I am. I get upset when people say same-sex people can't have relationships. I support LGBTQIA rights. And not because I'm gay, because they have the right to choose. But the problem is this. People are founding their reasons for not wanting to allow others to choose based in religion. And that goes against the primary principle on which this country was founded. Even though my people came over on slave ships, and some of y'all people came over on the Mayflower. When it finally got to a point where we were no longer 3/4 of a human being, and mind you, that was just the men. The women, we weren't included yet. And then we got into the right to vote. Black men, white women, then people of color. When we finally get there, we're here, right? It's not pretty. It's not perfect. I get it. I feel like we're going backwards. I feel like two groups are trying to take away each other's choices. I just said recently that we need a new political party. I don't know what we're going to call it, but I'm down to create it. I never thought I would see the world so engulfed. And maybe it's just because I'm getting older now and how I see and respond to things is different. I never thought I would see a day when the world was so engulfed politically. Dems don't like Republicans. Republicans don't like Dems. Nobody's listening. And the fact is this. There are good things on both sides. And I will stand by that 100%. I don't worry about what people think about me, and I don't care what people say. There are good things on both sides. But this is where it gets tricky. Everybody wants to be right. Nobody wants to listen. Is racism real? Yes. Of course it's real. Of course it's real. I'm not saying this stuff is not real. Racism is real. It's everywhere. Is everybody racist? No. Is police brutality real? 100%. Is every cop out to beat the crap out of minorities? No, they're not. I think we lose sight of who creates and pushes agendas. The media is terrible. The media is terrible. The media is terrible. They've created more divide than anybody. I'm not saying things don't exist. I'm saying things have been heightened. Things have been accentuated to make things a lot worse than they are. They're great at creating panic and hysteria all the time without the facts. It's not who reports the truth. It's about who reports first. I pride myself in coming on here week after week and being honest and open I'm not worried about people canceling me. I own my own shit. I do my own thing. I'm not worried about what people think. I don't need people to co-sign on my gun beliefs. I don't need people to co-sign on my abortion beliefs, because the beauty of it is that it is my belief. And that's the point that I would like to drive home. It's your belief. And right now, and I'm not even talking about Roe versus Wade. That's just a piece of the problem. The fact that people cannot share their beliefs without being attacked, that's a problem. And once we start getting in that place, that's bad. Because now we're looking at governmental control. Because then they're going to say, well, you can only think and believe this. I think you guys are distracted. I think you're focused on the wrong things. I want you to get focused on the right things. The goal daily should be just to seek truth and grow. You should always want to seek truth and grow, even if the truth is not popular. People should learn to mind their damn business. It's not your business who people sleep with. It's not your business what a woman does with her body or unborn child. It's not your business who owns firearms. It's not your business who's vaccinated or not. Since when was your personal medical history had to be public information? Since when? You're missing the point. You're missing the point. This country has a lot of potential to be great. Right now, I'll be very honest, it's an absolute shit show. It's insane. And we're distracted from the facts. Anything to keep us, unfocused off of these $6, $7 a gallon gas prices. I want to live in a country where everybody has an opinion. I want my haters to have an opinion. I want my supporters to have an opinion. And if we ever lose that, we're fucked. I want people to be like, Steve, I don't like you. I don't agree with you. Great. Let's talk about it. People shouldn't own guns. Great. Let's talk about it. But no one should be silenced because they feel, believe, or think differently. That's the problem I have that's happening right now. It's July 4th. One of our most patriotic, actually, I'll say it's probably our most patriotic holidays when we got our freedom as a country. You guys. I want you to go in this week. I want you to enjoy this week. And I want you to keep a few things in mind. Once you lose your freedom, I promise you, you will not get it back. You don't ever want to be in that position. And I challenge you to explore someone else's ideals this week. I challenge you to listen. You don't have to agree with them. Look, let me tell you something. I am gay, and my son teases me all the time. He's like, you always have to remind people. I was like, yeah, I do have to remind people, because sometimes people forget I'm gay, right? I'm gay and I'm black. I do not agree with everything the LGBT community does. I don't. I'm a card-holding Democrat. I think they're terrible right now. Horrible. And I have no problem saying it. Yes, I think women should have the right to choose. Yes, I think in a medical emergency, they should be able to get abortions. But if you're coming in for abortion number 5, no, the government shouldn't pay for it. They shouldn't. It's what it is. They should not. Because the issue is something else. Either you're constantly being attacked or you're constantly making poor choices. Am I simplifying it? Yes. The point is this. I want you to be able to speak freely and share your opinions. And if we ever get to a point where we cannot do that, we are no longer America. We have become somebody and something else. All right, I'm done. I got to get to the barbecue. Guys, I want to thank you for tuning into the Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things. And I'm very big on free thinking, free speak, entrepreneurship, living and becoming our best self possible. I want you to do you for real and authentically, and understand nobody has to like or love you. We do want them to respect you. Them, they, he, she, I, whatever. We want them to respect you. Okay, that's it. That's what we want. So happy July 4th, guys. Make sure to stop on the website, hardworknoexcusesapparel.com. Use code DOWORK for 20% off. Get you some merch, all positive vibes there all the time. Remember, nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work. Let's go.